Hey, so this is a semi-quick video about Grammarly, using it, how to get it, how we'll use it in class, and some of why you should, I guess. So anyway, one of the reasons you should always use grammar check. I use my word grammar check. I use Grammarly grammar check. I use spell check. My spelling's horrible. Is I want to look more professional, right? And as a professional, that's one of the things you do. Use your tools. If you have tools at your disposal and you don't use them, then you don't look professional. If you want to be considered a good student and you don't spell check, you're not going to look professional. The reason people roll their eyes when things aren't spell checked, it just because it tells your reader, I really didn't care about this, whatever. And if you tell your reader that, they're going to not care about it either. They're going to think whatever. And we don't want our readers thinking that about our writing, right? We want them to be engaged. And, even if you're faking it, if you're writing something that you're like, I hate this, you don't want them to know that, right? Okay? Unless you tell them, that's part of it. So, part of it, the big part of it is just professionalism, saying, look, you showing that you can take your time and care about things. And so Grammarly is one of those tools that's great. It's not perfect. Nothing is. It's a natural language checker, and so, it's a computer. It doesn't know all the nuances of language. Nobody does. I don't know all the nuances of English. I will die not knowing them all. That's just the way it is. Um, so anyway, but it is helpful, and it's a tool to definitely use, that shows, one, you care, makes you look better, and will improve your grade. And on top of that, the college is paying for us to have the premium edition, so we want to make sure and take advantage of that. Cool beans. So let's take a look at, first of all, signing up and finding it, making sure you're signing up so you can get the premium edition. If you've signed up for just the free edition of Grammarly, make sure you want to, because the report we're going to use that you have to download and upload requires the premium edition. So stick with me here. All right, to do that, and I'll put this link in um, the description. You're going to go to grammarly.com, and it's /edu/sign up. And this is very important, because otherwise, if you just go to grammarly.com and sign up, you would have to pay for the premium edition. But the school's paying for it, so yay. So edu.signup, that'll change to, once you go there, enterprise. It's just a lot easier to spell edu. Yeah. Okay, you're going to put your name in, your email. Make sure you use your college email. If you don't use your college email, it's not looking, because this is the enterprise, so that's Microsoft Office, the whole suite, that kind of thing. Word, those things. It's not going to find you, okay, or whatever, it sends a ping out somewhere or something. I don't know, but so you want to make sure that you're using that email. If you've signed up before and you try with your college email and it won't let you do it again or whatever, and you don't have, in a minute I'll show you how to tell if you have the premium edition and you don't have that, I'm going to put the person who's our support person at Grammarly, I'm going to put his email and in here, and I'll put a little kind of short, like, email text you could send him. Read it. You need to modify it, as in put in your name, your email, that kind of thing. But that way you can just copy and paste that and send him that email, and he can help you out with getting that done, because I don't work for Grammarly, so I don't know their stuff. Okay. All right, so once you do that, you sign up. Then when you come over here, you should see this edu right here. If you see the edu, then that means you have the premium edition. Okay. Um, it used to say premium, but now, since it's moved over to college or schools, whatever, has the edu. Okay. Now we can do a couple of things. Look, I'm going to delete this because I want to show that I've done this video before. You can do a couple of things. You can just click here and go to where you just type in. So if you want to type in drafts and it will check things as you go along, you can do that. If you would rather type in your word processor, in docs, or word pages, whatever you use, and then you want to upload it, you've saved it, then you can click on upload. Of course, with the new, you can copy and paste too. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this. It gives us, the first thing it does is it opens up set goals. Now, if you've told it not to show you that, can go back and adjust those over here. If you're writing the same kind of document all the time, if they're always kind of typical academic papers, then uncheck this once you set it. And so for 1302, as I go through here, some of y'all may be like, yeah, that's the only kind of thing I write. Do that. 1301, I'm going to tell y'all not to right now because we're doing a number just in this class. If you're taking 1302 with me or tech writing, and you also, well, tech writing's different things, so don't uncheck there. But, you know, if you also do like some letters and stuff like that in your life, I'd let it ask you every time. So your audience, general, knowledgeable, expert, well, it depends. For example, in 1301, our first major essay is pretty laid back and informal, so it would be general, right? In 1302, all 1302 is writing for teachers. So we'd either put knowledgeable if you're writing for a general audience, like I'm teaching you to write a general research paper. But once you move into your field, say you're going into nursing or computer programming or teaching, and you're in those education or nursing or computer programming classes, then you're writing, you know, it depends on the assignment. If the assignment says write it for the layperson, the regular person, then that's general. But if you're writing kind of that higher level, you've been reading the higher level stuff, that's what your teacher's expecting, then you might want to go with expert. Okay, so writing is always a call. You know, you've always got to figure out where am I doing that. And I've got the yellow spot here, don't I? Such a weirdo. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this general because the sample that I'm going to upload and show you is the 1301. Obviously in 1302 it would be formal. In this one, I don't know if I quite want to go informal, maybe more neutral. Most business writing I'd put in neutral. Most of writing for just general college stuff, I'd probably put neutral. Formal, you can get too, it just depends, okay? And then tone, if you don't know, you can skip these things. But if you do know, then you can put them in there. For example, in the first 1301, probably friendly and a little bit of respectful goes with it. That would work. Oh, what kind of thing is it? Is it academic? Is it business, general? This one I would call for 1301 creative. What are we doing? In here we're totally telling a story and describing. In 1302, inform, maybe a little bit of convince. I don't know. I might just do the inform and go with that, okay? So then once you're done, you can either reset those or say, hey, I'm done. So again, I've uploaded a 1301 sample. If you're in 1302, you're going to think more about that kind of middle ground or maybe the even kind of more higher level, either way. And then what you get is you get markup, like a teacher went through it, right? So here, for example, this suggests that I say it wasn't unusual that Amy showed up on that day. In fact, oh wait, first of all, it has here, it says semicolon. We may not be there at this point in the semester, but at some point you may see me doing this kind of dance that says if you got one sentence on this side and you got one sentence on this side, you got to have something in the middle to hook them together. And one of those things we can have is a semicolon. And check it out. Look what Grammarly is recommending, a semicolon right there, okay? And when we have extra information in this, in fact, we could take out Amy, it wasn't unusual Amy showed up on that day. It would have been more unusual if she hadn't. So that's my extra information. So it's saying, look, do you want a comma at the end? Extra information, comma. If it's in the middle, it gets up both sides. So if we haven't gotten there, we will. Just keep that in mind for a little while. And so you can, you know, choose what you do. And the thing is like here it's suggesting some different word choice. Well, those are okay, but I like this. I'm kind of doing this litany of, it's repetitive, but it's working for me because I'm thinking more about the sound there. It says it appears unnecessary, but when I read through it without that, it doesn't make sense. So again, we go back to Grammarly is really helpful, but it is a computer. And there is no replacement for having someone else read your writing and give you feedback no matter what. In fact, the more professional you get, more professional writers, that's why they hire editors. Those are people who read their writing and say, what did you mean here? I didn't get that. Or, oh, that was good. Or, let's don't forget to put the commas there, right? That's why that's an actual real job. So, anyway, so you can read through it, and I mean, just once you click on the thing here, the things that are marked, it'll look for things that says possibly wordy sentence. Well, it can be wordy, but I'm going to decide. I'm going to stop and read it and say, do I like that, or do I want to kind of narrow it down, right? And it's a choice. Depends on what you're writing for, all that kind of thing. Um, let's see. I don't know that there was ever a moment I thought, hey, she's one of my best friends. That's a quote, right? So yeah, before I thought is kind of similar to he says, she says. I said in my head. So yeah, and when we get to quotation marks, that's one of the rules we'll do. So you go through there, do that, and then what you want to do is get your report. When you turn in work for me in 1301, we have pre-writings, and those are just idea generation. So you're not doing Grammarly with that. I don't grade your grammar, their spelling, anything like that. We get to the next level, 1302. You're turning in. We're just kind of diving into bigger stuff, right? In 1301, when you're turning in your drafts, things like that, it'll say in the assignment, turn in your Grammarly report. Same thing in 1302. Same thing if you're watching this and you're taking tech writing with me. So you're going to turn in your Grammarly report, and this is where, again, you got to have that premium, that EDU version, to be able to get that. So you click on the score, and it says download PDF report. Now, if you can't see this, then when they changed the way this is, and you can like move up and down on, if you're on a laptop, on your trackpad there, scroll down with your scroll on your. I'm doing that on my mouse. Okay. So you can see the bottom of that window, because that's actually a window in there. When they first changed that, I was like, I can't see it, and then one day I moved up, and amazing, right? So it says download report. All you're going to do is you're going to click on that. It'll generate a PDF report. It'll be called report. You're going to do more than one for me. I suggest you like emblem, right? Or in 1302, the first thing I require, and bib. So you're doing that thing called that annotated bibliography. And we haven't gotten to these if you're watching this yet, so we'll get there. I'll explain all that. And then you can, save that, and make sure you know where you saved it to, and then whenever you turn in your paper, whatever you're turning in, you're gonna turn in that report. So that's really how Grammarly. I wanted to show you the plagiarism thing. Click on this, it'll tell you, did you plagiarize? Obviously, I have this on the web, so it's going to tell me, yeah, like it's mentioned in here. We can look at another part where, look, this is also in that pre-writing thing. Okay, here's another thing. So the question is why would you want to use the plagiarism thing? I mean, if you didn't plagiarize. Well, if you're using quotes, right, if you're doing something, and in both of these classes, in all of the classes I teach, we'll do stuff where we're using sources. Obviously, 1302 people, like that's all the time, right? And so what's nice is you click on that plagiarism thing, because if you used a quote and you forgot to put the quote marks, it's just gonna highlight anything it finds on the web, right? And it's not perfect, it's not gonna find everything, but it's gonna highlight anything. And that way you can just skim through your paper and look, and like it says this one, it says this is from there. Well, if this was a quote, which kind of is, but not, but if this was a quote, I'd make sure, do I have quote marks there? I'm going to make sure I have that attribution or that signal phrase according to my mama said, Smith and Johnson point out, right? Whatever words I'm going to use to lead into that quote, I'm going to make sure I used my quote marks. If I'm doing formal documentation, which we'll study in all the classes too, I'm going to make sure I have those parentheses with all, whether it's a page number, a section, whatever it is that I need there, okay? So what's nice is this basically is a research assistant, somebody going through and highlighting any place you've used something from the web, and that way you can just look at that little part and say, okay, did I say according to so-and-so, whatever, right? If it's just a less formal academic paper or somewhere where you're using sources, if it's their exact words, did I put quote marks around it? Did I put it in my sentence? My mama told me, right? Whatever you're doing. If you're doing the formal citation, then did I put the page number, whatever information I need to put with that to show that. And so it's really nice because sometimes you can forget. It's easy to get into the rhythm of writing a paper, and then you forget those quote marks, or you have the first ones, not the last ones. I'm totally bad about like leaving one set of them off, because I'm just in that space of writing, or I just throw the quote in and it's not hooked in with according to so and so says. I don't care whether it's formal or not, whether you have all these parentheses and citations. You need that for the flow. It makes you sound smarter. Use it, okay? So clicking on that plagiarism button if you're using sources is good, because it is having someone go through and say, wait, it'll mark it, and you can go to each one and just look and see if you did those things, okay? And if you're in one of my classes, like especially my 1301, where we don't get that till later in the semester, and you have to write a paper where you have sources, remember writing down the basics. My writing down the basics has all that information. The writing center, they can help you out. There's tons of videos, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but use this, okay? This is telling me half my paper's plagiarized. Well, I wrote the paper, okay? So anyway, overall, that's how we're using Grammarly. Again, I'll put the link for the sign up page for this, that. Make sure, again, you use your college email. I will put the name of the Grammarly, I call him the Grammarly guru, the Grammarly guy, who, if you have signed up previously and it won't let you sign up under your college email and get the EDU version, that premium version, then you can email him and just say, I'd signed up previously and now I'm a student here, or I didn't know we had it, and you can just say, I'm supposed to get the premium version. I'll put a little copy and paste. You can paste for the email. Anyway, if you have problems or anything, let me know. I don't know that I can do much more than refer you to Alex, the Grammarly guy, but I might be able to. Okay, I do suggest you try it with just some document, something you've written, because before you turn in, and I'm like, you have to turn in that report. So I suggest you use it for everything else you write this semester. If you're writing something for another class, remember, grammar isn't about English teachers. It's not about us at all. It's about people understanding your message, right? And that's what we want to work on, is people understanding whether you're writing about what's in your head or what's in your heart, for you to get that across clearly, and grammar is part of how that happens. So that's all. I'm going to stop saying words. Cool beans, right? Take care of yourself and let me know if you have questions.